Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So I just filmed this foundation and concealer, how I apply it and set it. Basically just showing you some tips and tricks on how I apply it and set it, so that way I don't get oily throughout the day and my makeup and foundation just stay clear throughout the day. And my under eye concealer with banana powder, luxury banana powder. You do not have to use this. I ordered mine online, but if you would like to use something else, I really prefer to use the Maybelline Fit Me Matte Poreless. This is the powder, because the Maybelline Fit Me foundation in the color 335 Classic Tan, and so if you do not have the banana luxury powder, you can set your under eye with this brush and this powder. It goes together, and I made sure that I did that as soon as I blended one eye out and set it with a powder, because it prevents creasing. So that's a good technique. Like I said, I hope you were able to take something away from this video. The next video will be coming up really soon on how I bronze and contour. I didn't show you how I do that in this video just because I'm going to come with you very soon with how I do that, because I want to show you some tips and tricks on how to do that as well. Remember to like and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching, and make sure to comment below if you would like to see anything else. I have so much planned for the future, so make sure you subscribe so you can stay updated. Thank you. Love you. So as you can see, I've already filled in my eyebrows. I always fill in my eyebrows. That's the first thing that I do before starting any makeup look for that day. And then I go in with my primer. Primer is very good. You always have to use a primer. It's very important. Very, very important, because you want to make sure that your makeup lasts throughout the day. And to make sure that your makeup lasts throughout the day, you want to use a primer. I'm using the Maybelline Master Prime, and this is the best drugstore primer that I've ever put my hands on. I'm making sure that I place the primer all over my face really, really good, especially in my T-zone area, because I tend to get really oily throughout the day in that area. Now I'm going to use my LA Girl Pro Concealer, an HD high definition concealer in the color Fawn. I'm using this concealer because I want to cancel out any marks that I have on my face, and it's going to look very well once I apply my foundation. Now some people, they use the color corrector in orange for the LA Girl, or any type of color corrector that you may have, but I'm just going to use my Fawn concealer because I feel like my marks on my face have not been that harsh lately. I've been trying to take good care of my skin, so this is a dupe. Basically, if you don't know how to use a color corrector, you can just use a concealer that's your exact skin tone. Now some people might say, girl, you just put half of the concealer on your face. That is true, but I'm a perfectionist, so I try to make sure that my makeup looks flawless as possible, So if you want your makeup to look flawless as possible, you have to use a certain amount of makeup, okay? Now, if you don't know what this orange looking thing is I'm about to use on my face, then you are living under a rock. I'm sorry. But this is a beauty blender. It's a good dupe for the beauty blender from Sephora. This beauty blender is from Walmart. It runs for a good $5 if I'm not mistaken. I've been dying for a chance to tell you. When using a beauty blender, I forgot to mention before, you want to make sure that you run it under some water. Make sure that it's not wet but damp. And as you can see, I'm just going through and basically blending out the concealer that I placed on my face. I'm dabbing, not swiping. Now I'm going to go into my Maybelline Fit Me Matte Poreless in the color 335 Classic Tan. This is my Holy Grail drugstore foundation. I'm telling you, it is the best. Now I'm going in with my Real Techniques foundation brush. I let the foundation drip all the way to the bottom and get as much as I need. And then I go ahead and apply the foundation to my skin. I like using this brush because I feel like it gives me an airbrush look. This foundation is very buildable, so put as much as you need to. I like to have a flawless look, so as you can see, I'm putting more and more on until I feel like I have enough coverage.
Don't be stunting in front of your friends, you know what I'm into. Don't need to hide it. You could be mine.
On my foundation and putting it on smoothly, I go ahead with the other Real Techniques brush and I blend some more. I'm making sure that I use dabbing motions around my face because it helps to make sure everything is seamless. I feel like when you want to blend out your foundation really good or any makeup on your face, using dabbing motions is the best way. You can't go wrong with this because regardless, everything is still going to look flawless.
Mama warned you about this too.
You can see that I'm doing light strokes under my neck as well, just to make sure that you won't be able to tell where my makeup starts and where it ends.
Mashing the works, that's why your belly get trembling. Baby, you ready? That's how I end. Don't be starting in front of your friends, you know what I'm into. Got me dumb enough, follow it, baby girl, that's what the kid do. So won't you take a stroll with me, girl? No stress, hope it's on me, girl, cause I can make it.
I also placed the foundation on my eyelids, just like I said before. I don't want to be able to tell where my makeup starts and where it ends. So I also go around my hairline and I tap any extra excess of foundation that was still on the brush around my hairline and any edges of my face that I may have missed.
All in this light I came for you. You'd be lying if you said I wasn't something that you're into. Don't be stunting in front of your friends, you know what I'm into.
I'm just gonna go through one more time and blend a little bit and place some more. Just to make sure that everything is seamless, I have to make sure that everything is blended. That is the key to success in makeup, okay? Now I'm going to go in with my Maybelline Fit Me Concealer in the color 35 Deep. You want to use a concealer that is 2 shades lighter than your skin tone to give you a highlighter effect. If you're not into that, you can also just use a concealer that's 1 shade or just your skin tone. You can put as much as concealer as you would like to, but you don't want to put too much because then you will cause a lot of creasing. I'm putting the concealer under my eyes, on the bridge of my nose, and above my forehead. I'm going to go back in with that wet beauty blender. Please make sure that it's wet so that you can make sure that all your concealer is blended out seamlessly. But yes, we're going to go back in with our beauty blender and just dab motions. I'm starting on the Cupid's bow. I'm going to work my way onto my nose and then under my eyes. Dabbing motions is the key to blending out your concealer. Like, I can't say that enough, just because you don't want to have just concealer sitting on your face. You want to wear the concealer, not the concealer wear you. Hey. Y'all, I am real live jamming up in that room. But that's what I do when I do my makeup. I always listen to music. But anyway, let's get back to blending, okay? Blending under my eyes, I really have to make sure that I do a good job and make sure that my beauty blender is wet because I have horrible creasing. Now, when I'm blending out the under eye, I make sure that I stop at the edge, just as like I told you in my eyebrow tutorial, and work my way up, as you can see. And then I look up in the sky to prevent creasing if you have that same problem like me. So on the side of my face, I do this type of flip-flop thing with the beauty blender to prevent having a harsh line on the side of my face. Sometimes when you blend out your concealer, you will have like this harsh line going across your face, and I can't stand it. So I make sure that I basically just bounce the beauty blender across my face. I can't really explain it, but you can see what I'm doing pretty much. And I'm also going to do the same for the other eye. I'm going to start at the edge and then work my way closer to my inner corner eye and do that flip-flop thing that I was telling you about. I'm going to go in with another concealer from the LA Girl. It's in the color Pure Beige, and I'm using this because I like a bright highlight. So if you don't like this, just skip this step, and if you do, continue to watch. I'm basically just doing the same steps as I did with the first Maybelline Fit Me Concealer, and I'm just going to blend it out once again with my beauty blender. Same technique, just a brighter concealer, that's all. So after I make sure that second layer of concealer that I just placed on my face is blended out really well, I'm going to set my under eye concealer with the Banana Luxury powder. Now you don't have to use this powder like I mentioned in my intro. You can use a loose powder, a base powder, anything that you would like to set your under eye concealer that will still match that type of highlight that you just placed on your face. That is perfectly fine, but I like to use the banana powder. I'm using a Real Techniques brush that came with the packet to set my under eye. The same way that I looked up when I was blending out my concealer, I'm doing the same thing for when I'm setting it with the powder. I'm trying to make sure that I prevent creasing. That is definitely a big deal, as you can see. And I'm just going to go through and blend out my concealer on the other eye and set it with the banana powder as well. And I make sure that I try to blend out one eye at a time, just because as soon as you blend out the concealer, it's going to set and it's going to dry, and it's going to be very hard to move it around unless you go through and damp your beauty blender again. That's why it's just very critical to go ahead and set it as soon as possible, so that way you won't have any harsh lines under your eyes.
Go ahead and show me how you go down, and I feel my whole body peeking.
I'm going to also place the banana powder on the bridge of my nose, above my forehead, and on my cupid's bow. Now I'm also going to place the banana powder on my eyelids. Basically any extra excess of powder that I have on that brush, just place it on my eyelids just so I won't look oily. Now I'm going to go in with Airspun. It's a loose face powder and it's translucent. I like to just basically use this all around my perimeter. I like to use my banana powder strictly for my concealer, and I like to use the loose face powder Airspun strictly for my foundation. And it definitely sets my foundation to its peak, so I won't get oily throughout the day. You don't have to use this Airspun loose face powder. You can use any face powder that you would like to set your foundation. And now I look like a white cast, so we definitely gotta go brush all of this off with the e.l.f. Fluffy brush. I'm going to use this e.l.f. brush and just brush off any type of powder that is on my face. I make sure that I get every inch of powder that is on my face, because I don't want to look like a white cast, and I want to make sure everything looks seamless. Turn a 5-star hotel to a trap house. After brushing off all that powder, you can look really washed out, so it's important to use a bronzer or contour to bring definition back to your face. I'll be right back because I need to go do that real quick, but you can't see in this video, remember? Once again, thank you so much for watching. See you soon.